Jeffree Star is back in the news. We talked about Jeffree Star earlier this week. He got called. He was on a. He
was on Bussin' with the Bros on Barstool Sports.
See, I'm poorly cast here talking about stuff that's even semi-serious. I really do belong on Barstool, where I can just say "bruh" a lot and things like that. Bruh. So he's threatening to sue a bunch of media outlets that have essentially been calling him transphobic for daring to question the idea that they/them pronouns might in fact be stupid.
I mean, he didn't question it. He outright went on a rant saying that they/them is BS.
It's
and
poor
that,
English.
Well, he didn't say that.
He said it's
important to point out.
Said that it's because of.
He said it's stupid and that it was invented during the pandemic because people got bored in their houses and they were coming up with new labels to put on themselves. Poor Jeffree doesn't know that it was invented long before COVID even happened.
There's an actress who was on Arrow in 2012 that was the first, I'll never forget that, the first time, like, as me, serial IMDb or looks up every single person on a show, and I'm reading this person's IMDb and I'm like, why are these written so weird? Like, I didn't understand at the time because it was like 2013, and like even then they were being respectful of the actress. I don't know if she goes by actor, if they go by an actress, but they were being respectful of the pronouns then.
It's an actress.
An actress with an X. And like I couldn't figure it out. So it's not like this is new.
It's not. It's just the determination to force everyone to play by their rules is the new thing.
They didn't know it was going to be an avalanche.
Yeah.
When they started, abiding by they/them pronouns in 2013.
They probably didn't know how easy it would be to weaponize people's goodwill. Like people's desire to be polite.
They didn't know that there was going to be a Maoist cultural revolution in the
It's not
United
even
States.
really a desire to be polite. It's a desire to avoid confrontation.
Right?
I think, I don't know about that. Like, I think most, like maybe I'm giving most people the benefit of the doubt. Like most people, if you ask them, who are not politically inclined, who don't understand the insanity that's going on in the world right now, would rather be respectful.
Yeah, I think most people are kind of like, I don't want to make a stink.
Yeah.
I just want to get along with everybody. I don't want to, there's no reason for me to
Live and
intentionally
let live
upset
is a
people.
big part.
I think that's the motivation that the Q in LGBTQ people are taking advantage of.
Right.
But it's become so aggressive.
That's the thing is, like, I think it's become to the point where it's like you don't want to be not polite or impolite to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to, and I've experienced this in Hollywood, you don't want to say something that is going to have people jump down your throat and start screaming at you in public, or
when the reaction
denouncing you, and essentially, like you said, like Mao was trying to, like the Cultural Revolution, shouting you down and literally having a struggle session against you. And, they don't have a little red book, but what's the difference? You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Gina Carano go on a Zoom call with 40 members of the LGBTQ community so that they can yell at her and tell her how awful she is.
That is a struggle
We're
session.
in such a
it is
like
quite
toxically feminine, like toxically ladylike
social
era
media
right now.
Social media has done that. Social media is a breeding ground for women and feminine men to bully people on the internet.
By the way, sorry, go.
Go.
No, you go.
Well, it's like you're saying, it brings forth feminine types of aggression.
Yeah.
Masculine types of aggression are physical. Feminine types of aggression are the kind where you would
if there's
talk
a war
about.
between women, it's like whoever admits the war exists first loses.
Oh no.
Thank you.
Oh.
Like Maddie Healy of the 1975 becoming problematic has prompted me to start listening to the 1975 more. And I heard one of his lyrics. It was like, I can't get the language right. Just tell me what's unladylike. And it's literally, that is the male feminist paradigm. Like, I don't know Zer.
I won't do it.
Or Zimzer
I won't do
pronouns, but like I'll just do whatever you tell me is ladylike, and I'll cross my legs uncomfortably on the train. I won't man spread.
So
I'll just be a good little ladylike, obedient.
So Jeffree Star is now threatening to sue. And had basically went scorched earth in this video.
Well, let's
saying,
look
like,
at the video.
Yes, exactly. Here we go.
Not always agreeing with everyone. You know what's crazy is that over the last few days, I have learned that being yourself, having an opinion, not always agreeing with everyone, those three things are scary to the average bear.
He's so good
They
at
can't
promotion.
be put
He
in a
is.
box, pre-labeled, and everything's already wrapped up with explanations. This thing, It's
Miss
scary
Thing?
to them. You know what I'm not going to do? Back down from my opinion, from science, from facts.
Science.
And just overall, I didn't even say anything crazy.
I don't even
but
disagree, but it's
the
funny to hear it
media
in
is crazy. So
RuPaul's
what
Drag
I am
Race
gonna do,
language.
I'm going to take something out of Cardi B's book. You want to hear it? I'm in such a different place mentally. I'm at peace. I'm so happy. And I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of TV appearances, podcasts, and there's a lot of big things in the works. And my brand just keeps growing and growing. It's just so fucking phenomenal. So yes, bitch, I'm back. And what we're not going to do is lie on my name. So anyone
not gonna do.
creating a lie, meaning the media outlet, I'm gonna Cardi B you. I'm gonna file a lawsuit because you are fucking lying on my name. I just went on and I saw a few outlets saying that I'm
This-
transphobic. Jeffree Star, who has 5 transgender employees. I have over 100 employees of all different ethnicities. A brand that is inclusive to the entire world. What we're not gonna do is lie. So if you posted an article saying anything like that, you better delete it, Miss Thing, because I'm fucking coming.
Yes, Miss
All I
Thing.
said was I don't agree with pronouns. That's it.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know what's
you-
crazy is
You don't want that smoke.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm saying like
You don't want
the
this
the people that will come out of this
Yeah.
okay are the people that have the capital to file these lawsuits.
It's like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
So you saying you don't want Jeffree Star smoke,
Yeah,
or
you don't
Jeffree
want-
Star doesn't want to start?
You don't. You do not want
You don't
smoke
want
with Jeffree
You
Star.
don't want Jeffree Star smoke. I mean,
No,
I've known
no.
Jeffree Star since MySpace back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want that smoke.
I don't know him personally, but I've got
Stay
friends
away.
that know.
Yeah.
He used to hang out with a lot of dudes in
Right.
metal bands and hardcore bands
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
totally.
So like,
Which
I've
is
got lot
not
of
a
friends.
PC crowd, or at least it
Hell
wasn't
no.
always.
No.
It turned into that
Believe
relatively
me.
recently.
Believe me, there are videos out there of me saying things that if they get brought up, I'm gonna have to go ahead and tell a lot of people to f off.
I was listening to old,
and not sorry.
No, I am not sorry about anything that I said
Yeah.
in the aughts.
Don't
no,
apologize.
ain't
Yeah.
sorry.
old
Don't
Hollywood
apologize.
Undead
Never did the
lyrics.
apology tour.
No.
I am not sorry.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
the
looking
thing
right in
is,
the camera.
Jeffree Star did do an apology tour essentially because people found all of these old videos of him from like the MySpace.
Oh
days,
yeah, he's hard R.
where he was throwing out the hard R and like
it's hard. To come
he
back
was
from that.
he basically
Yeah,
said
it's
an
all
explanation that
That's different.
I believe, and it was shockingly honest. He was just like, I was tired of being degraded for being, you know, an effeminate, feminine looking man and a gay man. Which was, I totally believe it, like a thing in the mid 2000s. So I retaliated with as much hatred as I possibly could at anyone who gave me pushback. So yes, I said these slurs because I thought it was the only way I could like give an equal reaction to the people that were being mean to me. I totally believed that. So I like at least that he didn't, you know, feign ignorance as to like what he was saying or doing. Like, but he did go on an apology tour in like the late 2010s. And now when he says like, don't bring up my past, that's what he was referring to. But maybe now he's realizing he shouldn't have apologized or acknowledged at all what happened, because every time that he says something new that pisses people off, his past will be brought up again, regardless of whether he is sorry or
That's
not.
the reason to not. That's the sole reason to not apologize. The idea that you're when you're apologizing, you're doing a couple things. First of all, a lot of times the attacks are not actually. They're not being honest, or they're not telling the whole story.
It's not in good faith.
It's not in good faith. So they're trying to cast you in cast aspersions. By apologizing, you're acknowledging that yes, they're right and that you did something wrong.
Admitting fault.
So you're admitting fault in the first place, and you're giving them all the power. And second of all, if you apologize, it is going to be brought up in the future every time someone feels like they want to. Every time someone wants to put you in a corner, knock you down, et cetera, they're going to say, well, you did this and you blah, blah, blah. If you said, yeah, I did, suck it, you know, then what are they going to do? You know, it's like, well, you know, you're a bad person. It's like, well, I don't give a shit. Pardon my French.
Yeah, and I don't think that Jeffree Star is based for this just because we agree on like one minuscule thing in gender ideology, like one very small facet of the insane tidal wave that has been like gender ideology, like slippery slope. But I do think he is like a psychotically competent businessman, and very calculated, and basically like the end result, if you take alpha male to its logical conclusion, like he is actually so competent and intelligent and ambitious that he's not even concerned with like gender anymore. Like he's like almost an alien that's ascended beyond the rest of humanity to make as much money as possible. Which I won't even make a value judgment on. I just think that he's not your next conservative pundit, and he doesn't want to be that either.
No, but that's the thing about this whole I hate to say culture war, but this whole thing that's going on is like it just takes a little thing like that for you to kind of be like, whoa, what? Wait, what are you saying?
You're exactly right.
They, them. What are you talking about?
You're exactly right, and it takes people like Jeffree Star
to realize that
to say that for normies to kind of snap out of it. The thing that
Is
Bill,
it?
it
Is
does.
that what they
I
mean?
think so.
Because
Yeah,
I
I think
thought
so.
that normies
100%.
want. Like I was watching this Matt Walsh video earlier where he was literally talking about this. Like, do we need, as Jeffree Star said, do we need somebody like him to say this? And
Yes.
he thought, well, no, because Jeffree Star is not a normal person who is relatable to normal people, and we need normal people
That's not
to
true.
speak out.
The point
I
is
think
normalcy.
that's a real blind spot on the right's
Yes.
point of view, where they don't realize how much clout Jeffree Star still has.
the right needs to get the regular liberal in America to realize that they're not a communist, they're not a socialist, and that all the woke policies, it's all Maoism, it's all communism, it's all of it.
It's all Marxist theory, all critical thought,
all of
stuff.
it.
It all boils
So what
down
you
to
need to do is what needs to happen is the average dude that works in Hollywood. I was in Hollywood. I was in LA like 2 weeks ago recording. I got working with a bunch of people that consider themselves left liberals in Hollywood. And I was talking with them, and when it comes to gender ideology and stuff like that, that's where they're drawing the line. And so what you need to do is convince them that the people that are the most aggressive with gender ideology are all communists, because they are. It is an ideology that ties in with a far left perspective, and you have to get your normal liberal Americans, normal people that are just like default Democrats that are like, look, I just want to vote for people to be able to live their lives however they want, and I think people should have health care. Those people need to understand that they are liberals, and that the people that are pushing gender ideology are progressives, and there is a distinct difference, and the liberals need to come back to liberal principles.
Totally agree.
Is Jeffree Star even relatable to liberals? Does
Yes.
someone like
absolutely.
this,
What
who
now-
is, I mean, Jeffree Star in every sense of the word except for political, like actual policy opinions, is a fascist. Like his personality is tyrannical and fascistic and like just like authoritarian to the max. How else would he single-handedly run a company like his?
Right, but
and a brand so like far-reaching, and it has like its claws stuck everywhere. Like,
Because
how
he's
has he
making
been on the
culture.
internet for as long as he has
Well,
and
so
had so many iterations?
That's the thing that I think gets commonly conflated. It's a conflation that occurs oftentimes for me. I see people say it's tyrannical, it's authoritarian, and they say it's fascistic. Fascism is another form of socialism. It's essentially the merger of industry and the state. So the difference is like he may be tyrannical, he may be authoritarian, he'd be top down, tough dude, etc. But he doesn't have the powers of the state. He
Well,
doesn't
I
have
mean,
the
I'm
legal
not
system
really
behind him.
interested in like political science beyond
Of course.
psychoanalyzing the people
Of course,
who
but I'm
subscribe
just
to
saying.
certain things, and that's what I was doing.
Well,
But
I'm just saying, like that's what oftentimes happens when you the Nazis were socialists, the national socialists. It's like it's a thing that gets put together and conflated a lot. And I think like I don't think he'd consider himself like a fascist or anything like that. I think he'd consider himself a hardcore CEO and etc. But I think that's
I know he wouldn't consider himself that.
yeah, but that's what I think
Yeah.
is it's important because like that's what Phil is saying is like people that are consider themselves liberals that maybe even grew up in the era of like down with Russia, etc. I mean, it's so weird we're saying that now again. It's
so
just
weird.
weird. But I think that's the group that needs to be woken up so they don't just keep keep voting blue no matter who. It's not the same thing anymore.
It's not, but it's not even about. It's not even just about voting. It's about because we're on pop culture crisis here.
Yeah,
it's about
culture. It's culture.
It's about culture. That's why someone like Jeffree Star needs to stand up to the people that are being trying to.
I disagree.
You really think so?
I don't think that this is a W for like sanity about gender and gender roles. This actually is almost making the issue more divisive and
it's definitely
essentially it's affirming the idea that one can transition from one gender to the other, meaning like that you're affirming the binary and one's ability to switch back and forth on the binary effortlessly with no
I can see that,
biological consequences, with no social consequences. Like, that is simply not something anyone has the capacity to do. The binary exists. And
I don't have a problem with people dressing up like the opposing gender, and I will call them she and he. And that's kind of where I get
that that's where you're at, but where I'm at is like, if you affirm one part of it, the entire thing is going to suffocate you. Like that is the goal, is to essentially just take like you're like the Western civilization is like the Joker's mom in her hospital bed, and then the Joker just fucking smothers her with a pillow that is like the insanity about like gender ideology and Marxism and like if you like give them even 1 inch, they will take the circumference of the earth. Like you can't cede
ground. I totally understand that. But that's
and I don't think anyone needs Jeffree Star to say this. Like
no, totally
I don't think Jeffree Star for anything but beauty products.
Right. I don't think of it as like as a win in any way. I just think of it as like this is something that I'm saying needs to happen regardless. If you want to, and that's the difficult thing about liberalism, the idea of saying, well, you can do what you want as long as you don't infringe upon my ability to do what I want to, is to say like, and you don't have to be liberal. I'm just saying that's like what this country was essentially founded on, the ability to say, do what you want to do, and I'll do what I want to do. Just don't bother me, and I won't bother you.
But I mean, we're gonna get way off track if we start talking about like the founding principles of the nation when it was like about Jeffree Star.
Oh yeah,
I disagree with that. I think that the libertarian approach that is like live and let live is actually one that lacks compassion. Because you're essentially leaving the most vulnerable people of society out to the wolves if you say live and let live. They don't know how to live and they need help.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.